All right, let's dive into the March 2025 Visa Bulletin. We do this every month to help everyone out there understand what's going on. Because let's be real, for anyone on their own immigration journey, these numbers can feel like a puzzle.
Absolutely, it's a lot to decipher.
So we're going to break it all down for you today. We'll focus on those key dates and changes for different categories, different countries, basically what you need to know.
Yeah, where are those goalposts this month?
Exactly. So just a super quick recap. The Visa Bulletin is like that giant queue, the line you're waiting in to get your green card. It tells you when your application can actually start moving forward. And we've got the March 2025 bulletin right here, along with this super helpful analysis comparing it to February, so we can see what's shifted, what's moved, and all that.
Should be some interesting changes this month.
Ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
All right, first up, family-sponsored preferences. Looks like things are mostly holding steady, but there's some good news for those from the Philippines.
Yeah, we're seeing some movement there, specifically in the F3 and F4 categories for the Philippines. So that means the final action date, that date when the U.S. can actually start processing your visa, has moved forward.
Okay, so for the folks in those categories, what are the new dates they should be looking at?
So for F3, that's for married sons and daughters of U.S. citizens from the Philippines. The dates move from November 8th, 2002 to January 22nd, 2003.
Okay, so anyone with a priority date before January 22nd, 2003 could potentially see some action soon. What about F4 for brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens?
That category moved forward to October 15th, 2004, from May 1st, 2004.
Okay, so some progress, but, those dates are still quite a ways back.
Yeah, it really shows you how much of a backlog there is in the family-sponsored system, especially for certain countries.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to employment-based preferences. And whoa, there's some serious retrogression in the EB4 category for special immigrants. Can you unpack what that means for our listeners?
Okay, so retrogression. It means the final action date has actually moved backward. And in this case, for EB4, which covers certain special immigrants, it went from January 1st, 2021, all the way back to August 1st, 2019. And this impacts all countries.
Wow, that's a huge jump backward. This is why keeping up with the bulletin is so crucial. Things can change drastically from month to month. What's driving this significant retrogression?
Well, it seems like it's a combination of things. High demand, for sure, and also a large number of visas already used in the first half of the fiscal year. They're trying to stay within those annual limits.
Right, makes sense. So if someone's priority date for EB4 is now after that August 1st, 2019 cutoff, are they essentially stuck?
Yeah, unfortunately, they'll have to wait it out, see if that category becomes current again, if those dates move forward. It all comes down to supply and demand within the visa system, really.
Gotcha. All right, let's move on to something a bit more positive. How about the diversity visa lottery? Looks like there's some good news there.
Definitely some positive movement. All regions have actually seen their cutoff numbers go up for DV 2025. That's the number they use to select winners, remember? So a higher number means more people are moving forward in the process.
Okay, so what are those numbers? Where do we see the biggest jumps?
The African region saw a pretty significant increase.
Yeah.
Went from 22,500 to 25,000. But there were increases across the board. Gives more applicants a chance.
That's great news for a lot of people out there. So let's break down some of those regional numbers. I know folks are eager to see where their country stands.
Okay, sure. So within Africa, while the overall cutoff is 25,000, individual countries have their own cutoffs. For example, Algeria's cutoff is 24,500, Egypt is 23,000, and Morocco's is 22,000.
So even within a region that saw a boost, there are still variations to watch out for. What about other regions?
Let's see. In Asia, the overall cutoff is 6,000. But if you look closer, Iran has a cutoff of 5,400, while Nepal's is 4,500.
Wow, it's really not just about those big regional numbers then, is it?
Yeah.
You really have to look at the country-specific details.
Absolutely. Each number in this bulletin tells a story. And for those going through the immigration process, understanding those details can make a huge difference.
I completely agree. Now, before we wrap up, let's circle back to the employment fourth preference religious workers category. That's the SR category. There's some time-sensitive news there, right?
Yeah, definitely something to pay attention to. This category is actually set to expire on March 14th, 2025. And unless there's new legislation, no new SR visas will be issued after March 13th, 2025.
Wow, so that's a hard deadline. If you're looking to get in under this category, you need to be admitted to the U.S. by that date. No exceptions.
Exactly. And it's not just about having a visa, but physically being in the U.S. by March 13th, 2025 at midnight.
Okay, so that's important to clarify. So anyone in the SR category should be making moves right now. what are the most important steps they need to take?
Well, first and foremost, consult with an immigration attorney, someone specializing in religious worker visas. They can guide you through the complexities, timelines, ensure all your paperwork is in order.
Yet, time is of the essence here. Every day counts at this point.
Absolutely. And, even for those not in the SR category, this is a good reminder that immigration law is always in flux. Staying informed, being proactive, those are key to navigating this whole process.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so let's recap some of the essential info for our listeners, especially those numbers and dates everyone's been waiting for.
All right, sounds good.
So, starting with family-sponsored preferences, we saw that forward movement for the Philippines, right? In the F3 and F4 categories.
Right. Those new dates, just to recap, are January 22nd, 2003 for F3 and October 15th, 2004 for F4.
Yeah, and just to be super clear, those advances, they only apply to folks from the Philippines.
Right.
For all other countries, the final action dates for those categories stayed the same. No changes there.
Exactly. Important to remember that.
Okay, on the employment-based side, the big news was definitely EB4, right? Retrogressed all the way back to August 1st, 2019.
Yeah, big change there.
Impacts all countries, and that could mean some serious delays for folks waiting in that category.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
But on a more positive note, the diversity visa lottery, we saw those increased cutoff numbers.
Yeah, across all regions.
Which is good news for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we also went into those country-specific cutoff numbers within each region, right?
We did, yeah. It's crucial to look at those.
Because it's not just about the overall region, right?
Nope. Each country has its own story, you could say.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, lots of numbers, lots of dates, and, a lot of potential for things to shift in the coming months.
Always, yeah. That's the nature of the Visa Bulletin.
So what's the one key takeaway you want listeners to walk away with?
Stay informed. The Visa Bulletin, it's your roadmap, and it can be complex for sure, but understanding those details, those are crucial for navigating your immigration journey. Don't just rely on headlines or casual conversations, Go to the source, read the bulletin carefully, and if you need to, definitely seek professional guidance.
Such great advice. And remember, this is just a snapshot in time. These dates can, and often do, change from month to month.
Oh, absolutely.
So keep checking back for the latest updates and stay engaged in your process. Best of luck to everyone on their immigration journey. We'll be back next month to break down the next